Hello and welcome especially to those who are fond of watercolors. Well, watercolors is a systematic journey of dealing with colors. Well, it's not only about the paper we use, it's mostly about the type and the brand of colors we use, and of course, the water, which in watercolor is the king. Well, in certain types of brands, what happens is that when we apply the color, when we apply a layer, it dries up and leaves a chalky substance on the paper. And we are not able to bring out the transparency that we want on the paper. So it's always about experimentation and using different brands and not directly going in for expensive colors. Well, if you ask me, then I have used Winsor and Newton, I have used Daniel Smith, I have used Magello, and they have all good transparencies. Well, not only that, it's also about the technique and the timing that we employ while doing watercolor. Well, timing is when we want to leave a layer to dry itself so that we can come back again and work at it. And on other occasions, when we want to work on existing wet layer, which is also called wet on wet. And not only that, then there is gravity which we can use to our advantage. If you want to know more about gravity and other techniques, please log into my watercolor landscapes and watercolor portraits to know more about it. And here, let's dwell into yet another watercolor portrait to unravel the process. So, welcome aboard yet another beautiful watercolor journey. Well, I'm done with my basic sketching, and this is my reference pic. And before I move further, I'd like to erase some of the traces of pencil so that it doesn't interfere with my paints. And as it's going to be watercolor and it does interfere with the shades, with the color, with the pigment that we are applying, we need to go as light as possible just to have a faint idea of where the things are. So this is the first thing we must do to ensure that we have a smooth execution of our plans. So as it is, if I look at the reference pic, I see the skin is white toned with pinkish values here and there, a little brownish and pinkish skin. So for that, I'm going to mix a little of pink and yellow ochre and try to arrive at the exact value that can help me out to bring out the proper color of the skin. And here it is. I have already mixed a little of pink and then of course yellow ochre, but I'm gonna dilute it a little more so that the intensity of pigment is not too much on the paper. And as usual, what I do is I just leave half of the sheet as it is, just bifurcate it and test my pigment here, the kind of value I want to apply. But I think I still need to go in for a lighter value. This is it. I'm going to show you properly. This is yellow ochre and a little of pink. Before applying, I'm going to see whether it's too dark or too light. Well, I think it's a little darker, and I need to dilute it a little more. And let me do the same, just a few drops. Let's check again. Oh yeah, this is lighter. So let me go in for the actual color, but I'll be taking care that I don't touch lips part of it, the eyes, white of eyes, and the hair. Rest I can go in for, but then before that, I'd like to dampen my paper a little to have a homogeneous spread of watercolor. So it always helps out. Now I am applying plain water here, leaving my eyes as they are, trying not to touch the white of the eyes. And this is my reference peak. As I said, this is my reference peak. I'll be trying my best not to touch the white of eyes. And this is it. So, first of all, doing the face part of it, go as fast as possible, because if the ambient temperature is higher, the thing gets dried up quickly, and the type of effect that we want to have on the paper, it doesn't come nicely. So this is it. I'm done with the first basic wash of water, plain water, and I'll just wait a little. I'll just wait a little before I pick the paint. This is a kind of general first wash of my basic skin color, but I have to take care. I'll start from forehead. Just a little wash, light. Now, as it has come a little on the lips, we can do the repair work. I have the paper towel here. It's done. Well, as I said, the pigment and the value, it spreads evenly when we have applied water. In certain places where the skin is lighter in color, you can always lift it off. Paper towel here. let it dry for some time. Well, the face portion of it has dried, and next I'm going to go in for the hair and to reach out for the actual texture and the values. I'm going to, in fact, I have already done it. I have taken a little of burnt sienna and then a little of pink and of course a little of yellow, and try to mix it up. And I won't reach to this value, but then caution is that we have to work it out from light to darker values. So first of all, let me dampen the paper a little so that I have a homogeneous spread of paint. In fact, the paint is watercolor, and this is the technique I have been observing over the years, and it has given me a lot of good results. Yeah, that's okay. And now let me check the intensity of this paint over here. Seems to be okay, and when it's applied on already wet surface, it's going to be a little more lighter. I have not damped the paper too much, only a little of it, and I can see the watercolor being applied is getting dried up simultaneously, giving me a true sense how it's going to be once it dries up. So this is a kind of basic wash that I have been giving to the hair. Well, as it is, we can apply any brush that you have, except that you need to have control, and we must know how to use the brush. Like in this present scenario, I am using my brush vertically. I'm using the brush vertically, and I can just tilt it if I want more surface area to be covered. So just trying to go for the darker values, even though this is not the shade I'll be going in for ultimately. But then hair is hair. There are some strands which are darker. It's always good that we give a few stings respectfully to the portrait we are making. Oh yeah, this is it. and create some subtle brush strokes and creates the depth in the hair. At times not worrying about the results, and once we do it with our heart, things mostly come out much better. This is a squirrel hair brush. And for the time being we need to stop because the strands are already wet, and if we apply some more paint it may not give us the right results. So let it dry up. Until then we can work on the face. Well, as it is, I'm using Winsor & Newton paint watercolor, and I've already taken a little purple and burnt sienna and mixed it here very light, and I'm going to test it here, and I think this is the right kind of value. The first, I think the second one that I'm going to apply in darker places on the face, and let me go in for this, and I have this reference pic here. So once again dampening my paper a bit, because that can give me a homogeneous spread of pigment on the paper. It does help, and care is to be taken the places I have to go. We should not leave any hard edges anywhere. Like the place here, if we leave it like that, then once it dries up, it's going to be a hard edge. So just need to merge it with the surface here. So it's done. Well, as it is, it's only plain water that I am applying right now. Not going in for any pigment. So it's the time now. Make sure that we don't leave any hard edges here. Don't forget this place here. And I repeat, the pigment I am applying, it's a bit of purple and burnt sienna. Don't leave any hard edges here. No hard edges. And now I'm going to employ watercolor pencils, and one is burnt sienna and the other is orange. The attempt is to get a hair texture like this, and I'll be quietly doing the work and you can observe. And now for the first go at lips, I have taken cadmium red and organic vermilion. But first of all, I'll be using cadmium red, a light wash of cadmium red on the lips, and then after I'll go in for subsequent layers. Well, for some precision work, I'll be using some watercolor pencils. After applying watercolor pencils, I have an option to leave them as it is, or I can apply water also to liquefy these colors so that there is no trace, or in case if I want, there have to be traces of the pencil marks, because there is always a need of giving some sharp edges or sharp lines, and this is what I'm going to do now. And now for a final layer, because I want to darken this side up, and the source of light is from the right top, so I'm going to darken up the places here, here, and a little bit here, and that makes my portrait, and it's time I go about it.